Hi everyone, my name is Mark and I'm really good at making popcorn. And what I'm going to do for you is prepare two videos, this one here being the first on how I go about preparing my popcorn. Even if you don't follow along exactly as I prepare my popcorn, that's fine because you'll pick up some tips on how to improve your popcorn, I'm sure. So here we're going to begin with the garnishes, namely how to make clarified butter, which goes on top, also known as ghee, as well as how to prepare the salt properly so that you get the best adhesion to the popcorn as well as the best overall taste. So I've got all my implements of production here, so I'm going to go over each one in turn for you. Here we have our unsalted cultured butter, which I actually prefer the Lactancy brand, but any brand will do. This is a skimmer. You'll need cheesecloth and a small funnel, a cup and a sterilized glass jar, a good sharp knife is a must for cutting up the butter, a mortar and pestle, and some iodized sea salt, a salt shaker, a big pot with lid. We'll start here by unwrapping the butter. Now we'll use our knife to cut up the butter into smaller blocks so they'll melt a little bit faster. It makes the melting process a little bit easier in that. We'll speed things up here because it does take a little while to cut the butter. Now we put the butter in our pot. If your butter is cold, slowly let it come up to room temperature. Once at room temperature, set your stove to medium-low. Should take about 10 minutes for your butter to melt. Use the skimmer to remove the foam that forms at the top of the pot as the butter melts. Notice here that the butter is kind of cloudy. Try not to disturb the milk solids that are forming on the bottom of the pot. We're just going to speed things up a bit here. Be sure to increase and decrease your temperature as needed. We just don't want it to burn, but we do want it to simmer for a long time. Here's a close-up of the simmering butter. Here you can see as it simmers, the butter is becoming extremely clear and the milk solids are forming very noticeably at the bottom of the pot. As our butter simmers, it's boiling off the water. Here's a close-up of the milk solids forming. Remember to adjust the temperature as needed. We don't want it to burn. After about 20 minutes of simmering, we want to turn off our heat and let the pot sit aside for 30 minutes. While our butter is cooling, we can crush our salt. So we'll put a little bit of salt in the mortar and we're going to use the pestle to crush it up. We want to grind it till it's as powdery as possible. Here you can see how fine a powder we're aiming for. Very powdery. Now we'll position our funnel into the jar and we'll put our cheesecloth inside the funnel in order to filter out any milk solids that might try to get into our clarified butter. Now we'll pour our clarified butter into our jar And take my word for it, it's best to have a pot that has a pouring lip, otherwise it gets messy. I don't have a pot with a pouring lip, so it gets messy. Pour out everything but those really gross looking milk solids. Yuck. Put the cap on nice and tight. In this time lapse you can see the clarified butter going from its liquid to its semi-solid state at room temperature. This is what your clarified butter should look like at the end. Well, that's about it. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned a thing or two about how to make clarified butter and the powdered salt and all that. So be sure to check out the second video where we actually apply our powdered salt and our clarified butter, also known as ghee, to the popcorn in my own special way, and make some really tasty popcorn. So be sure to check that out. Thanks.